How y'all doing? YouTube world. Welcome to Net to 27 Sports TV. My name is Amin. Today, I'm going to be talking some boxing once again. This is my top 10 pound for pound boxers today in the world. My top 10 pound for pound boxers in the world today. I told you I was coming. So, without further ado, I'm going to read off my top 10 pound for pound best fighters in boxing today. Number 1, Terence Bud Crawford, welterweight champion. Bud Crawford is undefeated, 37-0, 28 knockouts. First man to stop Shawn Porter. Stop Shawn Porter. Very impressive victory by Terrance Crawford. I believe 3-time world champion, lightweight, junior welterweight, and now welterweight. Undefeated. Been pound for pound. One of the top 2 or 3 last 3-4 years. Still undefeated. The fact that he stopped Shawn Porter in a very competitive fight, I think says a lot about his talent and his versatility, being able to switch orthodox and southpaw with power in both hands. His defense is a little bit leaky, but, he overcomes that with his skill set. So that's why he's number 1 pound for pound. First person to stop Shawn Porter. And Shawn Porter is not an easy fight for anybody, but he stopped him late. So got to give him much kudos for that. That's why Terence Bud Crawford, for now, is pound for pound number 1. Number 2, Earl Spence, the other welterweight champion. 27-0, I believe 21 knockouts. Errol Spence Jr., number 2, pound for pound. Also welterweight champ. He also fought Shawn Porter last year. First person to drop Shawn, not the first person to drop Shawn Porter. I think that was Adrian Broner. But he also dropped Shawn Porter, but his fight with Shawn Porter went the distance. But he has quality wins over other fighters like Mikey Garcia, Lamont Peterson. First man to stop Kell Brook. Went overseas to Kell Brook's backyard and stopped him late. Very talented young man. Hopefully this coming year, 2022, we'll see him and Bud Crawford fight for the undisputed welterweight championship and number 1 pound for pound. So, even though I got Earl Spence number 2, I still would put him as a slight favorite over Bud Crawford if they were to fight. I like Earl Spence's skill set, his aggressiveness, and we'll see if he can overcome the eye injury. But for now, Earl Spence number 2 because of his skill set, the quality wins that he has had. And we'll see what happens in his next fight. I think he's fighting Yorlandis Ugas for the WBA belt. So after that fight, if he wins that fight, hopefully we'll get to see Errol Spence, Terrance Crawford unification championship fight. So Earl Spence is number 2. Number 3, Tank Davis, WBA lightweight champion, undefeated. I believe 24-0, 25-0, 22 knockouts. Lightweight champion, former junior lightweight champion as well. 2-time world champion, Tank Davis. Number 3 because of his skill set once again. Power in both hands. Even though his last fight with Isaac Cruz went the distance, Tank still pulled it out late, even though it was a close fight. But anybody else, them same shots that he hit Isaac Cruz with, it would have been night-night. To me, he reminds me a lot of Mike Tyson in the fact that if he gets you hurt, pretty much it's going to be over. That same round, he's getting you out of there. He has the ability to box, but what makes him special is his punching power. His hand speed and his punching power. He has a great skill set. When you have those 2 things going for you, even if you're being outboxed, Your skill set in boxing and your punching power can get you out of a lot of tough fights, and it can end a close fight at any time. At any time, he has the punching power to get you out of there. Period. So Tank Davis, number 3 on my pound for pound. Number 4, Shakkur Stevenson. Shout out to Shakkur Stevenson, who's from Newark, New Jersey. I'm also from Newark, New Jersey, so I'm a little bit biased. But the young man, 2-time champion, current junior lightweight champion, great fighter, undefeated fighter. I believe he's 17, 18, and 0. Silver medalist in the last Olympic Games. Great fighter, great skill set, southpaw fighter. Can pressure you and break you down, but can also outbox you. Great defense, but his offense is really improved. Punching accuracy, punching placement is very good. Very intelligent fighter in the ring. Great boxing skills. And he has enough power to make you respect him when he's in the ring with you. You just can't walk in on him. He can put the combinations together to get you out of there. So Shakkur Stevenson, number 4 on my pound for pound, boxing top 10 pound for pound. Shakkur Stevenson, number 5, Devin Haney, reigning WBC lightweight champion, undefeated, 28-0, I believe, 15 knockouts. Great boxer. I called him Floyd Mayweather light. He fights a lot like Floyd Mayweather. Doesn't have Floyd Mayweather's defensive skills, but offensively, he's more aggressive than Floyd. Great punch placement, hand speed, put together beautiful combinations, uses the ring, uses angles, great boxing skills. Doesn't really get hit that much, but he does get hit on some occasions. But a very, very good fighter. Very good fighter. No doubt, top 10 pound for pound. I got Devin Haney at number 5. And, to me, the lightweight division, man, is just like the welterweight division was back in the day when you had Sugar Ray Leonard, you had Tommy Hearns, you had Roberto Duran, you had Wilfred Benitez, for those who remember back in the late 80s. But today's version of the lightweight division, man, you got some monsters. You got future Hall of Fame fighters in Tank Davis, Devin Haney. If he moves up, Shakkur Stevenson. You got a lot of greatness at lightweight division right now. So Devin Haney, number 5. Number 6, Alexander Usak, the current WBA heavyweight champion, former unified cruiserweight champion, recently defeated Anthony Joshua this year. Great skill set. Came up from cruiserweight to beat Anthony Joshua, which was a great task. Almost stopped Anthony Joshua. Great skill set. Southpaw fighter, very good boxer. Unified cruiserweight champ, so he's a 2-time champion, undefeated, 18-0, 13 knockouts. So I got Alexander Usyk, number 6. Number 7, Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, the only man to defeat Deontay Wilder. Somewhat controversial, but he defeated him earlier this year. Knocked him out in 11th round in a great fight, a great all-time fight. Give Tyson Fury credit from getting up from those 2 knockdowns. Even one of those knockdowns was a long count, but still got to give Tyson Fury credit for getting up, because as we all know, Deontay Wilder is probably the hardest hitter, not only in boxing, but in the heavyweight division. So for Tyson Fury to get up off the ground and come back and win that fight by knockout over Deontay Wilder, got to give Tyson Fury some credit. So Tyson Fury, number 7. Number 8, Canelo Alvarez. Great fighter, great skill set, great counterpuncher, can put pressure on you and get you out of there. He's brought his power up from junior middleweight to light heavyweight to super middleweight, right now, unified super middleweight champion. My only criticism of him is lack of going for the big fights right now. Having fought David Benavidez, who's been calling him out, having fought the Charlo brothers, who've been calling him out for 5, 6 years. Want to move up to cruiserweight to fight some guy nobody ever heard of. He hasn't taken the task to fight the best fighter in his division, which is David Benavidez, the linear junior middleweight champion. Until he steps up and fight those fights, also Demetrius Andrade, until he step up and fight one of these guys and beat him, I got to keep him down here on the bottom, near the bottom of the top 10 list. But nonetheless, he's a great fighter. And so Canelo Alvarez, number 8. Number 9, Vasily Lomachenko, 3-time gold medalist. That speaks for itself. Former featherweight champion, junior lightweight champ, 3-time champion. Still a great fighter. Great skill set, southpaw, fast hands. He puts together combinations very well. So got him number 9. He could possibly move up next year. We'll see what happens. Number 10, David Benavidez, undefeated super middleweight, former super middleweight champion, linear super middleweight champ, 25-0, 22 knockouts, great skill set. Fast hands, hits hard, puts combinations together, which is one of the reasons, or maybe all of the reasons above, why Canelo Alvarez don't want no smoke with David Benavidez. Young man, only 23, 24 years old, has all the tools. Just got to tighten up his defense a little bit, but other than that, has all the tools of a champion and a pound-for-pound fighter. So that's why David Benavidez is number 10 on my pound-for-pound. So there you have it. Honorable mention, Teofimo Lopez. Tough fight that he just recently lost, Kambosos. But he did beat Lomachenko, so that has to be taken into consideration. The Charlo brothers, they're still champions, been champions for the last 2-3 years. Got to give them credit as well. They're the honorable mention fighters. Anybody else that I left them out on purpose because they didn't belong there. Not in my top 10. You can't just be undefeated and be a belt holder, but you haven't fought nobody. So for all those who may say, oh, how come you didn't put Josh Taylor in? Well, Josh Taylor haven't beat nobody. Even though he's a unified junior welterweight champion, he hasn't beaten nobody. Until he beats somebody of noteworthy, then I'll put him in the top 10. Other than that, he hasn't beaten nobody. Only 18 fights, haven't beaten nobody. So Josh Taylor doesn't go in the top 10. Nothing personal. That's how I rank fighters. Skill set, fighters that you fought. That's what I go by. Your record, whether you're a belt holder, that adds to it. But you got to fight somebody of noteworthy. And Josh Taylor hasn't fought no one of noteworthy, so that's why he's honorable mention. I respect the fact that he's unified junior welterweight champ, but until he fights somebody, he doesn't get in my top 10. So that's it. Once again, my name is Amin. This is Netta27 Sports TV. Thank you for tuning in. Leave your comments. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button if you like what I'm saying. And if you have any comments, feel free to leave the comments, but be respectful. And I will respond to your comments if you be respectful. So thank you once again. I'm Amin. This is Netta27 Sports TV. Take care.